theorist was Margaret Newman, and her theory was health as expanding consciousness, caring in the human health experience. So Margaret Newman was born October 10th, 1933, and was taking care of her mother who suffered from ALS. She became her primary caregiver, and it influenced her decision to study nursing. So she attended university 4 times. She received a degree in home economics and English from Baylor University. She received a nursing degree from Tennessee College of Nursing. She had a master's in medical surgical nursing and teaching of the University of California, and a PhD in nursing from New York University. She was also employed by 4 different universities as a professor, a researcher, theorist, and in charge of graduate nursing studies at NYU, Tennessee, Pennsylvania State, and University of Minnesota. She also retired in 1996.
Some of Margaret Newman's achievements were that Margaret Newman was admitted into the American Academy of Nursing in 1976, and she has won their Living Legend Award. Dr. Newman has received the Distinguished Scholar in Nursing Award from New York University. She has received the Founders Award for Excellence in Nursing Research from Sigma Theta Tau International. Sigma Theta Tau International also created a Margaret Newman Scholar Award to fund doctoral students who wish to continue Newman's theory. She also has won the E. Lewis Grant Award for Nursing Excellence from University of Minnesota. Some influences on Margaret Newman's theory development. Margaret Newman's theory was influenced by her mother. As Kat said earlier, Margaret's mother was diagnosed with ALS, and she decided to become the primary caregiver for her mother. Caring for her mother also led Margaret to become interested in the field of nursing. Martha Rogers, another nurse theorist, greatly influenced Margaret Newman's theory. Martha was both a mentor and a teacher to Margaret Newman.
Originally, Margaret Newman's theory was stemmed from Martha Rogers' theory of unitary human beings, and as previously mentioned, what stemmed her to develop this theory was caring for her mother with ALS. And caring for her mother, what Margaret Newman realized was that those living with chronic illnesses or diseases, the term health couldn't be defined as living free of illness or disease. And later on with her studies, she expanded the theory to include not only those living with chronic illnesses and diseases, but every individual. The theory plays a role in the process of expanding consciousness, and essentially she defined the process as when an individual explores greater meaning in life and branches out to connect to others, and as a result, they become more of themselves as a unique individual.
The nursing meta paradigm, as said by Margaret Newman, is to help clients get in touch with the meaning of their lives by the identification of their pattern of relating. Nurses assist the clients in recognizing their own patterns of interacting with their environment. Nurses are able to help them with pattern recognition by forming great relationships with them at critical points in their lives and connecting with them in a genuine way. Nurses are seen as a partner with their clients, and they both grow in the sense of higher level of consciousness.
Margaret Newman explained the person as the center of consciousness. She identified by their individual patterns of consciousness. The human is seen as a whole and not as individual parts. However, it also includes the community and the family. Margaret Newman said that environment is not explicitly defined, but is described as being the larger unit, which is beyond the consciousness of the individual. Environment is described as the universe of open systems.
For the health meta paradigm, Newman has stated that pattern recognition is the essence of emerging health. Health and illness are synthesized as health, the fusion of one state of being, disease, and its opposite, non-disease, results what can be regarded as health.
So as we've previously mentioned, Margaret Newman developed her theory after working as a caregiver for her mother with ALS. And her theory essentially stemmed from working with those with chronic illnesses and diseases or disabilities. So essentially what her theory states is that even though someone is living with a permanent illness or disease, that they have the ability to overcome it and live their life to the fullest. So our case study follows a girl with type 1 diabetes. So she's diagnosed at the age of 5. And because she was diagnosed at such a young age, she essentially doesn't remember where she hasn't had diabetes impacting her life. So from a young age, she learns to properly administer her insulin. She knows how to check her blood sugar, and she knows the signs and symptoms of hypo and hyperglycemia. Essentially, this girl learns to teach others about type 1 diabetes instead of succumbing to the condition and letting it overpower her life. And as a result, she hasn't suffered from any major complications, and she's able to benefit others on the disease.
So for our critical thinking exercise, we're going to be demonstrating Margaret Newman's theory, specifically that health is both a pattern and a system. So to do this, I was going to start off by connecting several people in the class together with a piece of string in a zigzag formation, and then I was going to ask them to move a washer from one end of the string to the other. This would have demonstrated the connected system performing a function that is so prominent in Newman's theory. After they complete this, I was going to introduce a stressor into the system by cutting the string and asking them to redo their task. They wouldn't be able to complete it, just like someone with a chronic illness would struggle after being diagnosed. However, as Newman's theory so prominently states, a stressor or an illness can be overcome and the individual can learn to function again. To demonstrate this, I was going to tie the two ends of the string back together and ask them to complete the task again. It might have been a bit more difficult. They might have had to reorganize themselves in order to get the washer over the knot, but it would have been possible. I think so. This will show the final aspect of Newman's theory, which is that it's really important to accept your illness and to learn to live with it and not succumb to it.